Welcome to the Jay Kim Show, Hong Kong's first dedicated podcast on investing in Asia. Join us as we survey the land and discover the greatest companies and most profitable investment opportunities in Asia. If this is your first time listening, thank you for stopping by. This podcast is produced every week with the goal of providing actionable insights to you, the listener, with every single episode. And now, on to the show. This week's show guest is Anurag Avula, co-founder and CEO of Shopmatic. Shopmatic is a plug-and-play solution for bringing companies online. It's an e-commerce platform that provides you all you need to sell online or on social media or in person. Anurag's the man behind Shopmatic. He's previously worked in payments and banking. He's held senior roles in Standard Chartered Bank, NCR, and MasterCard, and was most recently Senior Director for Merchant Sales Strategy and Operations at PayPal Asia Pacific. This is where he met his co-founders of Shopmatic. Anurag, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jay. Good to be here.
Yeah, so I kind of glossed over your background. You obviously are well credentialed and have a lot of experience, but maybe just for a little bit more color for our audience, you could give us a little bit of your background, where you're from, sort of what you maybe what you studied and what you led you down this path of eventual entrepreneurship.
Yeah, that's fine, and I'll cover a little bit of my background as well, both from my work as well as a more behavioral side of elements that will probably give a better color about why Shopmatic came into being in effect. So essentially, as you rightly pointed out, my last role was at PayPal, and I was tasked to look after the merchant services portfolio and building the PayPal franchise across the Asia Pacific region. And that was when things got a lot very interesting for us, as we were engaging with customers all across the different markets and emerging markets, wherein we found them not having the entire tools and capability for them to be able to take their business online. So PayPal supported payments as one element of it, but then there was a whole other side of online e-commerce that it was not very easily accessible, or even if it was at a much higher cost that they were not willing to pay. So essentially, that was where the idea came about for us from a Shopmatic standpoint. But prior to that, I've essentially, most of my roles and experience has been in the emerging market space, be it India, Asia, Africa, or the Middle East for that matter. And that, along with the fact that of the understanding of PayPal and the e-commerce space, made it clear that there is a huge opportunity for us to be able to leverage some of those capabilities and provide solutions for customers in those geographies. So that's the background in terms of how the whole idea of Shopmatic came about. And
Right.
We found three areas, if I were to just touch upon three areas that we considered while building the platform. One was the access of or understanding of people on technology, and we removed that entirely from the ecosystem in terms of being able to support those capabilities that customers might want. The second was transparency in terms of pricing. We just wanted to make it very, very clear that people got what they see is what they got. And finally, the last bit was in terms of hand-holding and taking and supporting the customers through their life cycles. So we have a team of e-commerce consultants that essentially are tasked to building and making our customers become successful. And that's the whole idea of where Shopmatic came about.
Got it. Well, you've obviously have vast experience, across multiple countries and within e-commerce. I'm curious, and I like to ask all entrepreneurs this, and someone that's from someone that has come from sort of a more traditional corporate background. PayPal, I guess you can call it more of a tech, but it's a very well-established company at this point. So for you to break out from that and basically do after many years to basically take the leap and become an entrepreneur and do your own startup, what was that process like? And was there a catalyst or a certain pain point that made you take the leap?
Well, there's always been that itch in me to be able to look at making a difference or trying to make a difference in terms of what. Not saying that PayPal didn't make a difference, but you were making a difference under the cover and the umbrella of a larger enterprise. And
Right.
Essentially, PayPal was a great learning experience for us, for the three co-founders. In fact, for us to be able to understand and get deeper into the ecosystem of online commerce. And essentially, again, if I go back to my primary, one of the previous points that I was suggesting, wherein the markets that we were operating in provided a wonderful ecosystem wherein there is such a huge phenomenon of people wanting to do something with their lives, become entrepreneurs, try and create something of their own, and be able to take it and become successful at that. And there wasn't a supporting ecosystem that was allowing that for, as I call them, emerging customers or new to e-commerce customers. And there wasn't that ecosystem that was providing a platform for people to be able to do that, be it a homemaker who is making wonderful earrings sitting at her home in Singapore, or someone designing fashion clothes in India, or a lady or a crab sales guy selling wonderful crab in Hong Kong, right? Based on each of those guys, everyone wants the ability to be able to make that happen, but not worry so much about, technology. And we make it become, technology becomes agnostic to people. So that was one of the big elements for us. But also the fact that, and the three co-founders, all three of us, were very clear that if we had to do something, it would really happen together. And essentially, in terms of age, I have a lot of gray hair right now. And making that jump was absolutely thought through in many ways. It was not impulsive. We woke up one day in the morning and said, let's go and do something. Idea was that we knew that there was a significant opportunity. The fact that we wanted to build a sustainable business. And at the end of the day, we wanted to make a meaningful difference to a small business or an individual entrepreneur or an SME, and really make it count. So for us today, we have big partnerships with HDFC Bank or Singtel in Singapore. But the biggest thing for us that really warms our hearts is that one lady who is sitting in Hyderabad in India saying that I became successful because of you guys and what you made it happen for us. And to me, there is no better feeling than when a customer writes to you and tells you some things of that sort. So.
Right.
So while it was a thought through, I would say that you obviously don't see all the elements that are going to come and hit you or make life interesting for you. But at the end of the day, the courage of our partners, the fact that we're all working together for a common purpose, a brilliant team, allows us that ability to say, I think we made the right call.
Absolutely. And I think that, so you raised a couple very key points here that I think that, a lot of people that might have that entrepreneurial itch have considered in the past. But it's very important to look, entrepreneurship is quite, it's quite like a sought after and sort of glamorized and this sort of thing. But, it is a very difficult decision. You have to be smart about it. You can't just be like, I want to be a startup founder and one day and jump out of bed and do it. And I think that, the other important thing that you touched upon is that, while money is important in this world and in our lives, there has to be a greater sort of purpose to what you're doing. And if there isn't, I think that you can't get through those failures and those difficult, dark days and those pivots and all this sort of thing. Because if your only motivation is sort of money and getting rich, then you'll just give up and try something else, or you won't be able to pull yourself through that. But when you actually have that sort of big vision, North Star vision of helping entrepreneurs or whatever it might be, I think that's crucial to any startup success. So, did you guys launch in India first, or was it Singapore?
We actually launched in India first, and I think that stemmed from a lot of, similar to the point that you just raised. I think for us, we felt that the biggest purpose would get served in a market like India with the opportunities there, and also to couple the fact that India is not an easy market. I'm not saying any market is easy, but India is a lot more harder than other markets that you would have, considering the access or the understanding of e-commerce, technology, data infrastructure, and things like that. It was a lot more harder, and hence we took the approach that if we were to get India right, then the rest of the markets become a lot more easier for us to work with. So we launched in India in January 2016, and then followed that up with Singapore and Hong Kong about 6 months after. And And that, I think, played out well for us as well, because I think we really were able to nail down the simplicity and ease of use and some of the key value props that we were able to bring to our customers.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, Anurag, I mean, we'll probably need a separate podcast episode to discuss India as a as a market because it is so nuanced, and I mean, anyone that's been sort of following the startup scene, we saw the sort of gold rush of investors go in what 2014, 2015,
Yeah.
and then most of them just kind of pulled out or failed, or there were significant down rounds in their investments and or closed shut down investments. So it's very nuanced, it's very difficult. And so I think you guys did the right thing, tackled perhaps the hardest market first and then roll out subsequently. I want to just dig into the actual the meat and bones of your company. So Shopmatic, your aim is to basically facilitate small SMEs or small business owners to get online and basically get their shop running. I mean, that's my understanding. How does Shopmatic differ from, say, a Shopify or I don't know if you heard of Shopline. I think
Yes,
they're
which
in
is Hong Kong based.
Taiwan.
Yes.
Yeah, Hong Kong, Taiwan. So how do you guys differentiate yourself from these other sort of competitors?
So I think I'll probably try and tackle that on two different angles. One is from a overall value proposition standpoint, our essence was very clear that we wanted to provide the entire ecosystem for anyone wanting to sell online. So right from obviously creating your storefronts to having a payment gateway or a logistics provider or shipping integrated within the platform, but also the ability to sell across multiple marketplaces, be it Amazon or eBay or Lazada or Zalora or Q10 or any of the other local marketplaces that you might have in different countries that we operate in. So in effect, making sure that people had one single platform to be able to sell on their own store as well as on multiple channels and also on social channels, social media channels as well. So you can create a Facebook store, Instagram, and what have you, and you're able to create the entire ecosystem for being able to sell online. That is at one level. At the other level, the ability for us to provide, considering the target audience that we're working with, the ability for us to provide education, handholding, and the ability to really build a business along with our customers is the key differentiations in terms of what we provide. At a technology level, I mean, things can always be equalized, but essentially the way we approached it is to take the approach of making sure that we had the entire ecosystem and we were handholding a customer through the entire process. So for instance, if you were to sign up with Shopmatic and you get assigned to Anurag, then Anurag is your guy to go to for just about everything, right from building it, for you to be able to understand what SEO is and how to use Google AdWords or Facebook Pixel and any of that stuff. Your call will always return back to Anurag for him to be able to understand you better, understand your planning, and then your business plan, then make you successful at that. So in effect, that's how we round it off and bring the holistic solution to our customer.
That's pretty comprehensive. I want to talk about, okay, so I mean, I just pulled up your website. I mean, there's a tagline that says, set up your e-commerce store on your phone in 2 minutes, which is pretty incredible. So let's walk through the actual customer experience. So let's say, I'm Jay Kim. I want to start a shoe store online, and I come to Shopmatic because I heard about your solution and I want to try it out versus someone else. So what is the actual user experience like?
So before we get down that path, we have actually two products. One is Shopmatic Go, which is a mobile app where you can download it and set up your store in less than 2 minutes. That allows you to just build a storefront and has a payment gateway included within that package, and it's absolutely free for a customer to use. So you can come in, you can set it up, and you're ready to start selling. That said, it doesn't come with the entire full stack solution, which is the solution that I'll talk to you about for your shoe store.
Okay.
So, which is called Shopmatic Pro. So, in effect, if you come in, you've heard about us from your friend. You come in, you say, I want to get a free trial. You're taken to a selection of 70 odd templates based on your category of business that you're in. So you could choose, because you're selling shoes, let's pick a template from fashion and accessories. You have 5 or 6 templates that you could select. You could preview it. You could determine which one appeals to you the best, or reflects your brand or your product at the best. That said, a template is a template, so you could change the images, and every single merchant's site looks different because it's their picture, their content, and it is your picture, your content that would go on it, and it's essentially your story. And that's what we propagate, that it's your story. Once you select your template, you sign up, you email ID and password, and then we'll collect some business information from you, your address and your telephone number, and that's about it. And then once you do that, then we are walking you through an automated tutorial. At that point, it's a do it along with us model. So you're actually, in effect, building your store with one product and one cover image, and that will take you through the entire onboarding experience. So once you key in your name and address and your telephone number, you will go in to set up a product. So when you go and set up a product, you will just upload an image. You can actually do 4 images per product. You can then apply different SKUs to it, like size, color, whichever model that you want to put, the description of your product. So let's call it Jay's blue shoes, and a price for it. You can put a list selling price or a list price, both of which you can put. The discount comes into the display automatically. If your list price is higher than your selling price, it'll show you that you've got a discount available on that. And then you hit next. It will we provide you with a free Shopmatic domain, which is a jaysshoes.myshopmatic.com.
Right.
That's a subdomain. You could choose to buy a domain from GoDaddy, which is whom we partnered with.
Right.
Or if you have your own domain, you can actually just key that number in and hit connect, and everything else sort of automatically happens at the back. Post which you'll be taken to a payments page. And since you're from Hong Kong, you will have PayPal available for you. You'll have PayPal, you'll have cash on delivery, and you'll have something which we call offline payments, which you can put in your bank account details for a buyer when he's checking out to be able to do the bank transfer,
right,
or pay you with PayPal or use a credit card or a debit card. So the moment you hit PayPal, at the back end, all your credentials that you've given us in terms of a name and address and email ID and password is sent back to PayPal. Then you're asked to confirm whether you want to set up a PayPal account. The moment you hit that, the account is already set up at the back end. Your verification of the account will happen at a later point in time, but essentially your payment gateway is then set up within 2 or 3 minutes. And then you're taken to a shipping page. You can set up your shipping. You just hit a button, and the same credentials are transferred to EasyShip, which is an aggregator that we work with in Hong Kong, who has all the players of whether it's DHL or FedEx, and all the other players within Hong Kong are available on the platform. And then essentially you will be taken and said, okay, do you want to publish your site? And you have a cover image which you can change, and then your site is ready to get published. Post which you could actually, and then you have a 15-day free trial to really build out your store.
Nice.
You can spend time, figuring it out, customizing it out. But essentially, we're walking you through the first steps of setting up a store so that you understand the ease and simplicity of how easy it is for you to do that, actually. So essentially, about 65-70% of our customers who sign up go through this happy flow for us, as we call it. And that gives people a lot of confidence. In that interim, if you drop off, somebody will reach out to you and say, hey, Jay, do you want some help? And you have chat options, co-browsing options to help with building the store up.
Right. It sounds super hassle-free, as far as what you just described, over the line, basically. I'm not even looking at it visually, but from how you described it, it seems very, very, very easy for someone to just get their store online. And all the support that you guys provide is obviously invaluable. Can you talk to us a little bit about, you mentioned it before, the social selling, social media selling, and what kind of features you have there?
Yeah. So I think, so what we do is when you get through this process, there'll be a drop-down menu for you, and you can actually do selling on multiple channels. That takes you to a tab which has the marketplaces in your country that is available, whether it be Lazada, Amazon, and eBay. And then you're able to set up. Ideally, if you have, you should have an account with them. And so what we do is, the moment you hit the sell on Amazon, what we do is we optimize the entire catalog that you have on our platform for Amazon. We optimize the catalog for eBay, because each one of the marketplaces has a different requirement in terms of what are the size of the image, what are the different categorizations that you need to do. We actually automate that at the back end, so that you don't have to worry about going to different marketplaces and then relisting your product from that standpoint, right? So essentially, the same catalog that you've created on the Shopmatic platform is used to propagate itself to the other marketplaces on the grounds that, of course, you should have an account with the marketplaces and all the commissions that go to those marketplaces is settled between the marketplace and you. But what we provide for is the capability that you don't need to go and do this on multiple times at multiple marketplaces. One catalog, sell through as many other channels as you want. On the Facebook side, we actually create a Facebook store for you as well. So the moment you go and hit the sell on Facebook, it asks you authenticates your credentials on your Facebook credentials, and then within the next moment, you will find that your store is actually created with all the product catalog that you actually have on the Shopmatic platform is now available for you to either sell it or market it on Facebook. And if any buyer comes to the Facebook site and hits the buy button, it takes you back to the cart for you to complete the transaction on the site. And whether you can put in your Twitter handle, you can put in all of the Instagram, Pinterest pieces likewise.
That sounds incredible. Basically, literally, it's automatic Shopmatic.
Well, that's the genesis of the name, though.
Exactly. I mean, it just makes it sound so easy. Quick question on the payments, connecting with the payment processor. As someone that's come from PayPal, you probably know the sort of payments landscape very well. I know that there are some challenges depending on what your business is to finding a payment processor. And I know that let's say you had to piecemeal whatever Shopmatic offers separately on your own. You would basically have to build your own website and then add a payment cart system, which might be a separate service that you have to pay for, and then you have to connect it to some sort of PayPal or Stripe type processor. So, and then there's also a verification process, because PayPal, I know, is a little bit more stringent, I believe, than according to Stripe, PayPal is a little bit more stringent with who they accept, and I'm sure it's vice versa the other way. But I guess that it goes beyond the scope basically of Shopmatic, I'm assuming, right?
So what we do actually is to state it simplistically, we actually pre-integrate the payment platform onto the payments engine on our platform. So in effect, if you were a merchant doing things not with Shopmatic, you would in effect have to go to PayPal, get your credentials, API key, bring it back onto the platform that you want to use, and then put that back on and integrate that from that perspective. In our case, what we do is all of that, we take care of it for you. What you need to do as a seller is to have an account with the payment platform.
Right.
We are able to transfer some of all the information that we have collected to PayPal or Citrus in India, which we use, and we are able to create an account on that front. And then you just follow the process. Of course, you'll need to give in certain information, but it's all happening as you are actually building it out. It doesn't take you more than 5 minutes to actually do that.
Right.
Now, one of the other things that we do, because we've pre-integrated, you actually get a preferential rate from if you were to sign up for PayPal on the Shopmatic platform in Singapore and in India. And then you actually are able to get a better rate than what you would get if you were to go directly to PayPal. So that also gets transferred back to the customer who's setting up a store.
Got it. Okay. So that sounds pretty straightforward. And so as far as the revenue model goes, I guess it's a subscription-based model that you guys work off of there?
Yes. So for the Shopmatic Pro product, it's a subscription based. On the Go, it's actually free for the customer. We monetize it with the rev share that we get from the payment platforms.
Ah, I see. Interesting. Yeah, Anurag, it's very comprehensive overview, and we appreciate that. I think I think it's a very cool company you're building there. Obviously, if I was a entrepreneur or merchant myself, I would love to try your platform. But I'm definitely going to check it out, and I'm going to have one of my friends who's actually setting it up. I'll probably ask them to go through it. What looking forward, sort of, as far as the company growth and this sort of thing goes, you mentioned you launched in India, and now you're in a couple other. I think did you say Singapore and Hong Kong? Is that right?
That's right.
What are your sort of 2018 goals, expansion plans, this sort of thing that you might want to share with the audience?
Yeah, so we are actually launching in UAE next month.
Oh,
and
wow, nice.
and we will be launching in Indonesia and Philippines before the end of the year. I think that's something which we will be doing this in this calendar year, and that's something that we are looking forward to. Essentially, after the fact that we've got some established growth numbers in the 3 markets that we operate, so I think we are ready and primed for our next phase of growth. And in effect, we want to be in 20 different countries in the next 24 months.
Got it. That's pretty exciting, and I think that specifically, sort of Southeast Asia is ripe for this sort of solution, because I think that there's a lot of innovation and entrepreneurship happening, and there's a lot of SMEs or just small businesses that need this sort of solution. So I think that you're targeting the right areas. UAE sounds exciting as well. I'm not familiar with that market at all, but there's obviously a need for that. I wanted to talk quickly about, I read and heard about a new entrepreneurship encouragement program in India that you guys are participating in. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about that and get our audience excited about what you're doing there.
So essentially, it's an inspiring entrepreneurship program, and our price in India is about $20 a month typically, and we have our packages are tenure based, so everyone gets the same package, but it is different tenure. So for your 3-month tenure, you pay $60, and for the 6 and the 12, you essentially pay 6 into 20, but you get extra months free thrown in for that time frame. So what we've kept is one product, one pricing with one package, irrespective of which. It's just the tenure that's different. Mm-hmm. In India, for the inspiring entrepreneurship, to get the word and moving the engine forward. Last year we did a similar-ish program, and this year we're doing it something different. So for $1, you're able to get a 3-month plan, completely the same package at just $1 for 3 months, and that is just taken our acceptance and adoption through the roof. It's open for 2 months for May and June, and we have a similar program in Hong Kong as well, wherein we are actually doing that for $60 for a 6-month plan.
Oh wow! Okay, that's fantastic.
Which would have been $228 otherwise.
Right. So yeah, that's really again, it's almost giving back to the entrepreneurship community, because you're helping to encourage people to basically get moving with their business and just get online, right? So I think that a lot of times it's that sort of last mile. You can sit there and whiteboard out your business plan all you want, but to actually just literally launch, ship the product and get it out there, whatever it might be. I think that's the biggest challenge for a lot of people.
Yeah. That's, I think, what we want to push out and get people to get onto the platform and start selling.
Absolutely.
And be successful at that.
Absolutely. So Anurag, as we look to wrap up, and thanks again for sharing your story and the awesome things that you guys are working on there at Shopmatic. The final couple of questions, and I like to ask all entrepreneurs this sort of second to last question, which is for aspiring entrepreneurs, or maybe people that are in corporate and are working at a PayPal or a MasterCard or somewhere that and they've had that entrepreneurial itch that they just looking for the right time, the right place, maybe the right opportunity, or the right problem to solve or challenge to take on. What piece of advice would you give them?
So, I mean, two things. I mean, it's been obviously at the back of my mind a lot of these times in the last couple of years. But essentially, I think there's never a right time. I mean, if we'll always wait for the right time, and there'll never be a right time because something or the other will happen in your life, and you'll say, "Oh, okay, maybe let this pass, and I will then think about it." Then it's too late, and it's gone, and then you really don't. You're back to square one thinking about that. So, if you believe in something, and you first and foremost, I think the belief in your own self and the confidence that you have in your own self that yes, whatever it is, I'll be able to see it through and I'll make it happen. And I believe and I have faith and I have courage in being able to make that happen. I think there is never going to be a right time. And I think that is the number one underlying piece that I would certainly mandate. So
Right.
for anyone who's out there thinking about it, if you have a reasonably decent idea, have faith in yourself and just go for it. I think that's what I would recommend to anyone. Yes, in large corporates, you always worry about when's my next paycheck going to come from. But there's that question. If that's the question in most people's minds, then that's where people will stay.
That's right.
Right. So I think that is one big factor. The second piece is grit and persistence and the belief that whatever comes by your way will also pass. This too shall pass, right? So you will, I mean, no matter which way and the best laid plans, you will get the curveballs, and you will get curveballs like you've never had any coming from you from all sides. And I would say the only one thing that I would say, and this may be a little off from what normal advice is, that there is a courage in numbers, that if you have a partner or a couple of other partners, do it together.
Right.
Because you will never have a day wherein every single day that you are going to be on top of the world, you will feel down, you will feel depressed, you will feel dejected, you will say, what the hell did I do? And you will need your business partners to say, to somebody to come in and step in saying, okay, we'll figure this out and we'll take this forward. And then, and the final thing I would say is, if you don't have a supporting family, then it's never going to work.
Right.
Yeah. So I think to me, those are the three big things. I mean, ideas, money, all of that stuff are, for anyone who's worked in corporate life, should not be such a big issue if people really put their mind to it.
Yeah, those are awesome pieces of advice, Anurag. And you kind of just left us with a cliffhanger, because I think the last one, I think that is actually a large problem especially for people from Asian backgrounds, and I'm sure Indian as well. Entrepreneurship is still not mainstream, and there's still this sort of parental stigma that your kid should go into a safe job and earn a nice paycheck. So I think that's definitely very, very important and sound advice. Anurag, thanks so much for your time and for sharing your journey. And where's the best place that people can find you or follow you, or maybe learn a little bit more about Shopmatic if they're looking to maybe set up a shop?
So I think we do have a Facebook page. It's search for Shopmatic on Facebook and it'll show up. But we actually do have a community blog, which is available on our site. And that gives people a lot of, articles and stuff about how do you become an entrepreneur and how do you start and where do you go. And all the things that are not necessarily even connected to Shopmatic is something that you'll find there and can follow and learn about the online space as well. Or give us a call. Just from our website, just pick up the numbers depending on where you are. Give us a call and our consultants will be very delighted to help you.
Fantastic. Well, thanks again, Anurag, and we're definitely excited to track your progress, and we're looking forward to seeing how you guys keep expanding and taking over the world with Shopmatic. So best of luck.
Thanks, Jay. Thanks a ton. Thanks a ton for your time.
Take care. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. All the show notes and links can be found over at jkimshow.com. Come back often and make sure you subscribe, rate, and review. Don't forget to join us next week for another exciting episode of The Jay Kim Show. I'd love to hear your comments. You can find me on Twitter at jaykimmer, JAYKIMMER. See you guys next week. This podcast is brought to you by Hack Your Fitness, the high achiever's guide to getting ripped in under 3 hours a week. If you're anything like me, you're probably working a full-time job or jobs and trying to find time to balance family life, social life, and last but not least, fitness. Look, I get it. I'm a full-time investor and entrepreneur myself, and father of two. So how am I able to stay fit year-round without spending hours and hours in the gym killing myself on the cardio machine? After struggling for the last 15 years trying every workout and diet under the sun, I finally designed a system that allows me to achieve and maintain single-digit body fat for life in under 3 hours a week. Cardio not required. Head on over to hackyour.fitness and download my free 13-page guide that teaches you the simple science behind efficient fitness and smart nutrition and gives you everything you need to know to finally take control of your life. That's hackyour.fitness.